Hi guys, nice seeing you again. I am Lorenzo and welcome to my new video. Today we are gonna do something that is gonna be more in line with the first content I made, which is, scout together the never-ending source of incredible posts that is Reddit, one of my favorite websites. Even though I'm not an active user of Reddit, I love just lurking the website. And if you are just like me, one of the subreddit you may know most is this one, or someone with a similar vibe. So today we are gonna take a look at ShitAmericansSay and analyze some of the most voted posts for the last week in order to, comment them to the eye of an Italian. So let's start with this one, which is already very, very interesting to me because I have plenty to say about this one. So, yeah, we see the look of a lady and she says, at the airport, America will be lost to the immigrants thanks to Biden and Kamala. Norway, here I come. So, you guys see the irony, right? You don't need me to point it out. Like this lady, she's migrating to another country because she's afraid of immigrants coming to the United States. Do you get it, guys? Like, do you see what's going on? Why these people assume that they are wanted anywhere else in the world? I mean, Norway is a small country in terms of population. I don't want to give an exact number because I might be wrong. And I'm pretty sure that they are doing all right as they are. They don't need this lady, in my opinion. But yeah, that's not for us to say. But if I take a deeper look at this, one thing I'm questioning is, did this lady learn Norwegian or the Norwegian laws or Norwegian culture? Is she going to be able to understand that the road signs are not in miles per hour? Is she going to be able to, assess the law enforcement in their own language? Or is she going to be a migrant in the exact same way that she's despising those other people coming to the United States? That's something that intrigues me very much. And talking about this, I was also wondering, so it seems to me like a lot of Americans love to refer to their background. So they come to Italy, they come to our restaurants, our train stations, our places to hang out, and they go, yeah, I'm Italian, since their grandfather was born in Italy. And I wonder, these are the same people that are voting for migrants to be taken care of, like to be deported. Do they realize that, I mean, if it was their grandfather, they would have been deported as well? Like, I don't know. So, talking about that, I don't feel like there is a lot to add to this post, so we can move on. And one thing that I saw by the side of the page are these flare, which are like particular elements that distinguish one post from another. I'm talking about what I was saying before. Ancestry seems to be a big thing, so we're gonna click on it and see where it takes us. So, oh, wow. So this guy is saying that his ancestors were Irish for 5,000 years. I'm pretty sure Ireland, I'm not gonna say something and maybe be wrong about it, but I'm sure that 5,000 years ago Italy was old, but Italy, like, we didn't even have the Romans 5,000 years ago. Maybe we had some of the Fenici, but Etrusci, but not really. I don't think that's the case. So yeah, 5,000 years ago Ireland wasn't even Irish, but seems like this guy is, and I'm sure he's never went to Ireland ever since he was born in the United States of America. And yeah, his lands were stolen during the potato famine. Can you imagine, guys, the pain of your land being stolen? And that's happened like 150 years ago, and he's now living in the US of A. So, well, you know what? There is no need to stress too much about this one. Let's move on to the next one. Actually, talking about ancestry and stuff like that, I did read another post earlier, and I wanted to show it to you because, yeah, look at this, guys. US TikTok has discovered that there are black Scottish people, and the comments are wild. The chap they've discovered is rather pleasant on the eye, along with his wonderful voice and accent. And Bag tells us that he's more Scottish than the guy, and he's never left the US. So, guys, what's going on here then? So either this guy is Scottish and this other guy is American, or he's not American if he's not Scottish. So I don't know what's going on with these two guys. Also, I've been to Scotland. Amazing country. The people were lovely. And I can tell that this guy, he's not one of those. Like, I'm sure his family moved long enough ago for him to lose all of the traits that distinguish Scottish people. So, yeah. Dreidel, you look and you sound like a dork. So, embrace your Scottish ancestry. Go to your home country and do better, okay? Learn to do better. I was in Scotland for a couple of weeks, and I remember if you are walking the street and you bump onto someone, they're gonna run after you to say that they're sorry and to ask if everything's alright or if they wronged you or something. At least that was my experience. And I was in Edinburgh, which is like a big city. But even when we went to the Highlands, so more in the internal area of the country, I happened to stumble across a moving bank, which was this sort of big van that goes around these smaller towns in order to offer their bank service. And I remember I was very amazed by this. I'm gonna see if I can find it on Google so I can show it to you. So this is the sort of thing I was talking about, this van, this moving bank of Scotland. I'm also learning right now that, yeah, they are probably gonna close down the service, but that's not the point. The point that I was trying to make is that I legitimately just walked to the driver of this thing and I asked him, hey, it's the first time I see something like that. Would it be cool for you if I come inside and take a look? And his answer was, of course, come in. So yeah, Scottish people, amazing people. This guy, not so much. So let's move on. Let's go to the next post. Let's ditch the ancestry aside for a little bit and let's see what Financial Ocelot has to say. Where do I get all-purpose flour in this country? I was trying to go to the store to get some all-purpose flour to like bake some cookies, like some chocolate chip cookies for my daughter, but I go to the store and there is no all-purpose flour. Do I have to go to a special store to get it here? So I'm not sure what this guy is talking about because, for example, if you come into an Italian supermarket, you are gonna find O flour, double O flour, raw flour, technical flour, all sorts of flours. And sometimes it gets confusing for me as well. But thankfully a quick Google search or just a call to your mom, truly, will fix this problem for you. But I suppose you guys are used on having some sort of all-purpose flour. And I'm wondering, maybe that's the reason why you guys have so many celiac people. And then they come here to the old countries and they have pasta and bread and pizza and all of a sudden they are not celiac anymore. So maybe that's the reason, but let's dive in the comments and let's see what they have to say. So, For Bestlings tells us that no Americans involved, but there was a hilarious thread once in one of my immigrants group from a woman complaining that it was impossible to find unsalted butter in Poland, and arguing with everyone who told her that unless the butter specifies salty, all butter in Poland is unsalted by default. Well, I'm not gonna dive too deep into this because in Italy we don't use butter too much. I mean, we do use it In the north, they use it more than us in the south, so I'm not a big expert on butter being salted or not. So, out of curiosity, we are gonna grab my butter from the fridge and see if it tells us anything. So, guys, I grabbed some butter, no plug to this brand. I mean, if they want to invest in me, I'll be down for that. And yeah, I'm reading everything, and I can't see anywhere if this is salted or not. But if I take a look at the nutritional values, it says that the salt is 0.02 grams, so I suppose this is not salted. And also, thanks to recording this video, I just found out that my butter had gone bad like a couple of weeks ago, so I'm gonna have to throw this away. So yeah, now that we found out about the butter and the flour, let's move on to the next one. Okay, that we are starting quite strong. Europeans cannot comprehend how rich us Americans are. First thing first, I don't want to even read the content of this post. You guys have a way richer economy, that's for granted. And I feel like it's way more common in the United States for people that get their degree and finish their studies. It's quite easy to make 100, 200 grants a year, which seems like a lot. But then, once you start factoring in the taxes, insurances, car payments, loans, mortgages, and most importantly, the necessity for a lot of higher income Americans to one-up their neighbors, those 100K per year don't look that good anymore. At this point, wouldn't it be better to make like 30K per year and live in Italy, where you can afford pretty much anything you need with those money and live a much more balanced lifestyle and enjoy fresh food way more often and not having to rely on your car to go everywhere? But this is not a given truth. This is just my point of view. So let's see what this guy has to say. All this is just appeasing to Euro poor cope. Yeah, as you know, we are all poor. Europeans cannot comprehend how rich us Americans are. You can make 150K annually working in a gas station or as a bartender. Well-paid lawyers and software engineers in Germany only earn 50,000 euros per year. They live in squat little houses. I can guarantee you that's not the case. My cousin lives in Berlin. She's not rich and she lives in a nice house. And we have no AC. That's partially true. It's getting less and less true as it's more common for people to have their own AC in the house. I don't have one in my house, that's why I'm sweating like crazy. I have a small portable unit, but it makes a lot of noise, so I don't want it ruining my videos. And yeah, we have no freedom to speak against our government at all. That's true. That's why our students get deported if they don't comply with what our government has to say. So yeah, can you see the irony in this? And life is miserable in Europe. They all want to live in America. You only saw the tourist Disney stuff. So out of curiosity, how many Americans visit Europe poor continent every year? Let's Google it. Oh, can you take a look at this, guys? 40.2 millions. That's like a fifth of their total population. And they all came to visit Italy? Not a fifth, it's a little bit less than that. But yeah, 40 million of Americans have visited Europe in 2024, and there is like 330, 350 of you guys. So yeah, I guess a lot of them truly want to look what it's like to live here in Italy, or in Europe in general, sorry. Okay, this guy is questioning himself. I don't understand why Europeans don't like German American and don't call them German. Can you say a word in German? You are no more German than Hans Niemann. Yes, I'm ethnically German. That's already a bold assumption. Like, ethnically German. Germany is a big country. It's very different between the very French West and the very Slavic East. and the south is almost Italian to some degree. Like the people are very different in Germany, from south to north to east to west. So being ethnically German doesn't mean a lot. You could be ethnically German and live in Italy, for example, and yeah, it doesn't mean much. So this guy really has a nice counter argument by asking him if he's a German shepherd. And yeah, he's stressed out. I don't understand why Europeans don't like German Americans. I love seeing Americans simultaneously claim to be European but also spend time bashing Europeans. So yeah, make up your mind. You cannot be American, European, German, make fun of Germans, make fun of Americans. You gotta pick your spot. Like, I don't need you to pledge your allegiance or anything like that, but at least make up your mind. So yeah, thank you, proper solid 626, for the amazing post. And why is Putin so short? Are we Americans actually that tall? I'm not gonna even go in depth in this. I'm short, and most of my American guests were taller than me. I don't even want to know what people have to say about this one. But this, yeah. So if I wanted to walk, I'll go for a hike in the woods. Europeans don't have a real natural forest, so they just walk around in their cities and pretend like that's amazing. I feel like I could stop the video on this, because this is the dumbest take we are gonna see for today. Truly. And I got some arguments that go in favor of what this one guy told us, because I feel like in Europe, in Italy, we have a way older history than you guys, and I don't mean to brag by saying that, but it's just, facts. So I feel like in Europe, when we found like a lovely river or a lovely waterfall or a beautiful forest or plain, 2000 years ago, our ancestors were like, okay, this is a great place to settle. So now a lot of natural beauties have been turned into human settlements. And that's something that in the United States you guys were able to spare at least a little bit. So I feel like the amount of national parks and natural beauties that were untouched in the US are all because of the fact that we Europeans got there in a point in our development where we realized that keeping nature intact was a good thing. So I want to make it very clear. I feel like in Europe you are gonna have an harder time finding untouched natural beauties. Bear with me, untouched. That's very important. You think of Venice, a beautiful archipelago in the middle of the sea, and it's all a human settlement. I'm not saying that's not good. I'm just saying that maybe if Venice was in California, maybe by the time that people got to California, they were smart enough to not build big human settlements on a small archipelago in the middle of the sea, because we know that it could be dangerous or that just people love to tour there. So all this to say what? That this guy is full of BS. Truly full of BS. I mean, it takes me 1 hour or less than that truly to go to a beautiful place where I can hike a river and put a tent there and just enjoy the nature. I don't need to choose between being able to walk around my city and living close enough to a natural place. So yeah, this is crazy. This is truly effed up. Also, because I want to play a little game with you guys. So that's a game that I like to play with my girlfriend. Oh yeah, this is not gonna get weird, don't worry. Because as you can see, we are on Google Maps right now, and we're gonna play a little game. So we are gonna go over some medium, big sized European cities and see if we can find some green, and we're gonna find out whether it's a park or something else. So let's start with no, I know that in Naples we're not gonna find too many parks, but let's start with Rome. So we go to Rome, and already we see a lot of patches of green. So this is Villa Pamphili. a very well-known public place. You can go there, it doesn't cost you too much, or maybe it's even free to go in the gardens, and then you have to pay to get actually inside of the villa. But as you can tell, it's a lovely place to take a walk. It's not all nature, I understand, but come on, that's gorgeous. So let's zoom out a little bit, let's get closer, and let's see another spot of green. This is another public park. It's the park of Colle Oppio and Traiano's Terme. And then we see another patch of green, and it's another villa, you can see, with some beautiful greenery. So yeah, we have a lot of beautiful places to hang out in nature. Now we are gonna go to the United States, and precisely we are gonna go to San Antonio. Why San Antonio? First of all, because I already played that game there, and because that's where I'm going for my first trip to the United States. So let's go there. Here we are, San Antonio. And remember guys, we are gonna play the same game as before. We see a patch of green, we zoom in and we see what that is. So let's start here. We have Woodland Lake Park. This is a park, totally. So yeah, I already like this one. But let's try another patch of green. So this is a bigger patch of green. So we have a zoo, we have a park, and we have a golf course. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. We see a patch of green. It's a golf course, San Antonio Country Club. So we see another patch of green. Hey, look at this. It's beautiful. It's a park, right? You can walk there. Nope, it's a golf course. And yeah, this one, it's a golf course. It's just, guys, come on. And I'm pretty sure you can't just walk to the golf course. You gotta, go there, pay and play. So yeah, another golf course, and there is plenty of them. So at least if you see some trees in our cities, you can assume that you can freely walk there without being hit by a golf ball. Yeah, let's see some comments. T-Balls9 says, I often sit in my city and imagine what life could be like in a place with beautiful landscape and natural forest. Maybe someday I will get an opportunity to see an actual forest and perhaps even walk through it. Yeah, maybe one day. Thank you guys for sticking with me today as well. I hope that the quality of the whole video is improving and it's getting better and better to enjoy. I'm still working on a catchphrase to end my videos, but for now all I want to say is thank you, and I hope I see you soon. And yeah, please don't go changing, remain yourself. Peace.